There was never yet an uninteresting life. Such a thing is an impossibility.
Mark Twain remains America's most treasured teller of tales, and he knew everyone has a story. You have a story. The premise of the Legacy Disc is simple. Let's sit down and chat about your life or that of loved ones, and let's preserve that conversation so that anyone who sees it in the future will feel the same way, that they've had the opportunity just to sit and get better acquainted with a beloved family member. How we do that is really quite simple and easy and elegant in its design. Here's Legacy Disc founder Tim Gregg.
Throughout my professional life, I've been a storyteller. As a broadcast journalist and video producer, I've interviewed thousands of people and usually condensed their own words into short-form stories. But almost everyone has a lot more to say, a lot more of value than can be whittled into a soundbite. Perhaps the interviews I'll remember most are the ones I did with my own father in an attempt to help him understand me and my work. Once the camera was rolling, he became excited and animated, and ultimately we discussed things of which we'd never before spoken. It wasn't until after he died that I realized those interviews had helped me know my father more completely, and every time I watch those tapes, my dad, in a very real sense, comes back to life for me.
And thus was born, years later, the Legacy Disc. I'm now with Tim Gregg. And Tim, your story about your father hits a familiar chord for many of us.
Mary, we've all lost loved ones and often regretted the fact that we never took the time to get to know who those people really were. Our goal is simple. With the Legacy Disc, we want to celebrate families and help them capture the essence of their loved ones so those people and their stories are never lost to time.
And how do you do that?
We want to preserve the best part of people's lives and to do so in a simple and affordable fashion. While we're happy to add extras, things like still photo montages, tributes from family and friends, even a web page or a book, at the core of the Legacy Disc is simply a conversation, not unlike what we're doing right here. But we're going to preserve that conversation on camera and in a way to ensure that we capture the best stories about the most important aspects of the lives of those we honor, and we're going to do it in about an hour's time.
And so you're condensing a whole life into 1 hour?
Our three-step process helps people prioritize the events of a lifetime and get comfortable with the prospect of being interviewed. By the time they're in front of the camera, which will almost always be in a place with which they're familiar, there are surprisingly few butterflies and a real eagerness to tell their story.
And you call that the Legacy Day?
Precisely. We want to connect with people through places where they have a larger shared experience. Churches, civic organizations, alumni groups, retirement communities, or country clubs. At the Legacy Day, then, we'll conduct our interviews one at a time, talking to honorees about the people, places, and events that have shaped their lives. Then at the end of the day, everyone, including family and friends, is invited back to the venue to celebrate and share the day's experience at our version of a happy hour reception.
We'll see more about the Legacy Day in another chapter on this DVD. Finally, who should consider having their story told via the Legacy Disc?
We feel that anyone who has reached retirement age, whatever that means today, is an ideal candidate to be honored with a Legacy Disc tribute. Our packages make a treasured anniversary, birthday, Mother's or Father's Day gift, either from grown children as a way to honor parents, or from parents and grandparents to present as a keepsake to their children and grandchildren. As for those of you who have tried and maybe failed to preserve the past on your own, let me offer this observation. A lot of us take pride in our abilities as do-it-yourselfers around the house, but when it comes to the big and important jobs, we usually hire a professional. Capturing the legacy of your loved ones is a big responsibility, and we want you to think of us as the professionals who ensure that your family's legacy is preserved for today, tomorrow, and generations to come.